this question came in from a gentleman in Washington, and I'm not going to look at you guys so that I can read this all at the same time. He said, my wife has turned me out of the bedroom in an in-house separation and laid down conditions hinging on changes in me. We've been married for 35 years, but have had very little sex for the last 3 years. She yells at me, which I've asked her to stop, but she justifies it and has never taken responsibility for any significant portion of our conflict. Should I get an acknowledgement first from her and a willingness to change some of her behavior, or just go along with her demands till she softens up to be able to hear some of mine?
First off, can we get some hearts up for that guy? I mean, to write that, man, it takes a lot. And I just want to thank you for doing that, because that's huge, folks, to be able to just go, hey, this is what's happening. And I think what I want to be able to do is just let people know, man, that we love them, and you're not alone, because you're not the only person that we get emails or a question like this from. And
yeah, with One Extraordinary Marriage, I coach couples all around the world on the challenges that they're facing in their marriage. And this is one, I wish I could say that this was something that we hadn't heard before. Unfortunately, that's not the case. There are a lot of couples married, 25, 30, 35 years who are finding themselves at this impasse. And, what I can take from this, just in the brief information that this husband shared with us, is that there's been a lot of pain and conflict in this marriage for a long time. So what I want to say at the onset is to just give you a quick answer is not going to undo however many years of challenges and pain that you've been facing. Some recommendations that I would make to this couple, just based on the little bit of information I have, is one, you might want to consider looking at our contract of reconciliation. Right. This is a document, I think it's 7 pages?
7 or 8 pages.
7 or 8 pages, where you can outline like all of these different areas that you need to discuss in your marriage. If it's physical touch, if it's finances, if it's dealing with family, it gives you an opportunity to work through each one of these areas, because chances are, if you're experiencing this much conflict and if you're not having sex in your marriage, communication is a huge issue. So let's just say there's a communication challenge here. So contract of reconciliation would be something that I would recommend. I would also recommend that this couple seek the help of a coach, somebody that can help them peel back the layers to uncover where is all this pain coming from and where do they really see themselves in the future. I mean, obviously, the marriage has been sexless for 3 years and they're still together. There's something that they're still holding on to, and that's a sliver of hope for this couple. That I do coaching. If you're interested in that, just go to oneextraordinarymarriage.com/coaching. And there'll be information there. But this is one of those things where, his ultimate question there, should I wait and get an acknowledgement from her to make some changes, or just wait until she softens up? She's probably going to not give you any type of acknowledgement at the onset. I mean, to be quite honest, she's going to wait and see. But I have a feeling that she's been waiting to see for a long time. And so if I could give you one word in terms of your actions, it would be consistency. And this goes for everybody's marriage. Yeah. If you want to make change, if you want to see a response in your spouse, be consistent with your own actions, because a lot of times people will respond more to consistency than to your promises. They want to see that you're going to do what you say you're going to do.
And on a consistent basis, like Alisa said, because if not, then they start pointing the finger again. At this point, though, 35 years, I mean, start doing something for you. Like, change, look at one area of your life. What can you start to change? Sometimes it's just a mindset. Mm-hmm. How are you going to react? How are you going to treat her? What are you going to say? One of my more favorite shows that we did just recently was called Words of Encouragement. Words of Encouragement. Because, and I talked about in that show where I say Alisa's, when I even introduce her on the show, I say, my beautiful wife, Alisa. A lot of times I'll just say, hey, this is my beautiful wife, Alisa. And I say that for 2 reasons. One is to let her know that I acknowledge her beauty inside and out. And then the second reason is it's to remind me that she is beautiful. And so that is something that I had to stay consistent on over the last, I say 3, 4, 5 years. And it just changes how you start to look your marriage, at your spouse. And so maybe it's something that you need to start changing in you, that you're not going to change her. You're not going to change her. She is stuck in her ways, but you can start to soften her heart by what you do. I just think that's something. And I agree with Alisa. Get that contract of reconciliation. Know where you guys stand. What's going to go, where are you moving forward? What are you going to go towards? And having that written down and not just talked about is huge. Too often we get into this, you said, he said, we said this. It's not documented. I remember as a kid growing up, my dad and I would do this all the time. Maybe many of you have done this with your folks or something. We're going to place a bet on this. And you place a bet on something, and then the event happens, and you forget who bet what and whose side you were on. Well, the same thing happens in marriage, and with the contract of reconciliation, you have all that information down. You start to connect there. So I would say that as well.